Hello again, this is Wes Colby with US Freedom Biofuels and Biotalk.com. Today we're going to be doing a titration test on used cooking oil. This is a rather simple test. All we're going to need is some 99.9% isopropyl alcohol. For that we're using Napa brand Thermalade. We're also going to need some phenolphthalein indicator, which we have right here. We're going to have a 50 milliliter beaker to do the test in, an oil sample that we're going to test, and 10 milliliter syringe full of 1% potassium hydroxide or KOH. So let's start the test. Today I'm going to be using a magnetic stirrer. Ordinarily most people are just going to use a stir stick, whereas I have a magnet spinning in this beaker to do the agitation and stirring for me. So we're just going to start that. So the first thing we're going to do is I have already measured out 10 milliliters of isopropyl alcohol into this beaker, which you can now see is being agitated by the stir plate. I'm going to add 3 to 4 drops of phenolphthalein indicator. Note that nothing happens at this point. Now to clear out and make sure that we don't have any acidity in the isopropyl alcohol or in the sample, I'm going to add a couple drops of 1% KOH solution until that turns a nice magenta color. At this point, I am grabbing 1 milliliter of 130 degree used cooking oil that I'm now going to inject into the sample. We can see it cleared back up, so I'm going to add a little bit more 1% KOH in there. Now, as I add this in, it's going to instantly clear back up. Turns a little bit yellow. I'm going to note that I have exactly 10 milliliters of 1% KOH in this syringe. And I'm going to start injecting it into the oil sample. So there it turned that nice magenta color that we had in the beginning. And I can look at my syringe and see that I used about 1.5 milliliters. So that's going to give us a titration value on this oil of 1.5 milliliters. So now you might be wondering, why did that sample turn back to clear right after I zeroed it out initially with the 1% KOH? Because of the acidity in our atmosphere, if I let this sample continue to stir, it's eventually going to get clear again, just as we saw in the first stages of this test. Normally I'm going to recommend to you that you do this test 3 times and take the average of the 3 samplings. You can also increase the amount of isopropyl alcohol you're using in ratio with the amount of waste vegetable oil and percent KOH. If you want to do a larger sampling to kind of cut down on the risk of error. You can actually see at this point the sample is already getting clearer due to the acidity in our atmosphere. Thanks for tuning in today. If you have questions, make sure you check out our contact form on our homepage or give us a call. Our numbers are at the top of every page on biotalk.com. Thank you.